Hi, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to create this questionnaire in Word. It's a questionnaire that you can print out and you can fill it out with a pen, or I will show you how you can design it so that somebody can fill this out online and send it back to you. So the first thing we need to do is just insert a quick table. So let's go to Insert, Table, and then I'm just going to go to about 7 or 8. It doesn't really matter because we're going to merge them. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. So the more columns, the better, because we can just join them all together. It's easier to have more columns and then to split them all up. So the first thing I like to do with the table is select it all by clicking on this top left square, going to Layout, and going to Height. Now my row height's not very high at the moment, it's quite tight. So I always take my row height up to 1 centimetre, press Enter. And at the moment, all my text, if I type it into those cells, will be at the top left. And actually, I'm going to put them all at the center left. So go over to this section here and go to this one, middle left. The other thing I want to do is take out all of these lines, but leave myself a guideline. So to do that, go to Table Design, go over to this border icon here, click on the drop down and go all the way down to No Border. My table's disappeared, which is not very helpful, so go to the drop down again and go all the way down to View Grid Lines. Now we can see grid lines, they are just a guide. If you print this out, they will not show, they are purely there as a guide. If you save this as a PDF file, again, it won't show because it is just a guide. The next thing I like to do is to put my cursor in the top left and then just press the Enter key a number of times, just allowing us some space at the top here to put in a title and a logo. So the first thing is a title. I like to use text boxes. Click Insert, Text Box, Draw Text Box, click and drag out a text box. Again, it doesn't matter the size. And then just pop in title of questionnaire. And here I can select the text, go to the Home tab. I'm going to increase the font size using this icon here. Just click on it until you get the font size you like. And then I'm going to change my font size to this one here. Increase it a little more. There we go. Now the great thing about text boxes is you can move them anywhere you like in your document. However, they do come, if I just hover over here and deselect, it comes with a white background and a black border. I'm going to get rid of both of those, so select that text box. Go to Shape Format, click on Shape Outline and select No Outline, and then Shape Fill and select No Fill. And now you can see that there's no background and also there's no border. So we can pop that wherever we want. I'm going to pop it here because I'm going to put a logo here. Now what I have noticed is that I haven't stretched my margins out. So my margins at the moment are quite thick. So all I'm going to do is just select my table and select this line here and just pull it over to the edge. And again, this line here and pull that one over to the edge there. And now you can see that all of my rows are not equal. You see they're larger at each end. So all I need to do again is select the table, go to Layout, and then go to this icon here, Distribute Columns, and then that equalizes all of those columns. So now I'm going to insert my logo up here. So go to Insert, Pictures, Picture from File. I'm going to go to Logos, and I think I'm going to select this one here. Click Insert. So when your logo is inserted, you'll find out that you can't move it. So all you need to do is select it, go to Picture Format, Wrap Text in front of text. And now we can resize it and put it anywhere we like in our document. Now I'm going to show you a number of different layouts of questions. Some questions will need tick boxes and some will need text. I'm going to show you how you can just have them plain, so you can just print this off, or if you want somebody to fill them in online, I'll also show you how to do that as well. So I'm going to move this column over here because I want to number my questions. So my first question will go here, number 1, and for all of my numbering, I want them all in the very center of my cell. So select all of those number cells, go to Layout, and I'm going to select this Align to Center. Perfect. And now I'm just going to put in my information. This will be another number. We'll tidy all this up in a second. This is another number, and as you can see, I'm going to move this line. If you want to move this line here, you need to select the cells either side of it. So then otherwise it will select the entire line all the way down the row. So that's my title. So for your title, you don't need a lot of space. So then I'm going to move this line over to join it here, and then this line over. Now we need to split this cell because we need some more information. We need to put in surname. So on the layout tab here, you've got this icon here that says split cells. So click on that and it says number of columns. I want to split it into 2 columns, remain at 1 row and click OK. So in here we need surname, and then we can move this line over here. Now if you feel that it's a bit tight, that's fine. You can move surname onto another row, but this is just purely for a demonstration. So once we've got that sorted out, we need to concentrate on how it looks. So what I'm going to do is select all of this, and I'm going to put a border line around all of this information. So go to Table Design, go along to your borders, click on the drop down, and for this one I'm going to select all borders. Now if I go down to the bottom and I uncheck my view grid lines, you can see now how my questionnaire currently looks. If you're not happy with them, you can take some lines out if you want to. Let's go back to view grid lines. And when you click on the drop down, you can see there's the different variety of borders. There's a bottom border, top borders, left and right, outside, inside, inside borders. And all these mean is you just highlight sections of your table. Let's say, for example, we wanted to get rid of this line here. All we would do is just highlight the 2, go to borders, and then select this one here that says inside vertical border. Just uncheck that, and you can see that that line disappears. Let's just go back, Command or Control Z. The next thing we need to do is create a space. So what we do is just bring that up. There will be a point where you can't pull this line up anymore, and that's the smallest that cell can become, or that row can become. That's your space. Then we move on to question 4, and this one will simply be address. Whoops. And for this one you need quite a lot of space, so all we're going to do is just select all of these, go to layout and click merge cells. So that will merge all of those cells together, leaving you one big space. I'm just going to move this line over. There we go. And again, for this entire row, select it all, go to Table Design, Borders, All Borders. And then you've got that border line around all of that information. Next one, bring that line up. There we go. And question 5. So we'll have mobile phone number. Then we'll have question 6. And then we'll have email. So we'll move this line over here. And I'm going to move the 6 over. So I'm going to move that way. There we go. And then I'm going to select all of those, table layout, merge, and we can merge all of those cells. Let's just move this line over a little bit. There we go. And again, select that row, Table Design, All Borders. And then again, we'll bring this row up for the space. Now we can see gradually we're running out of rows. So all you need to do is select the bottom here. You can go to Layout, and then you can click Insert below, and you can just keep clicking on that icon and it will keep inserting more rows. So the next thing we're going to do here is a multiple choice. So we're going to write statement, and then we're going to have here strongly disagree. Okay, you kind of know how this works. So these words look a little bit tight in these cells at the moment. So what we're going to do is make them a little bit smaller. So we're going to select all of those words there. We go to the Home tab, and then we're going to use this icon here, decrease font size, and just decrease that font size, and then actually take it up to about 9, and then we're going to go to layout, and then we're going to center everything like that. Perfect. We're also going to join these rows together, so we're going to select it and then go to merge cells, and then we'll have our first question here, question 7, and we will merge these 3 cells, merge cells, type in my question, and then number 8, number 9. Now don't worry, I will come back and show you how to put all of the different elements in here if you want somebody to fill this out online like a digital form. We're going to concentrate on the main layout first, and then I'll come back and do that afterwards. Again, merge cells, and then merge cells again. Just copy that text in, and here. This is going to be the most random questionnaire ever, but it is purely for a demonstration, so you kind of get the idea of how to set out different questions. And now I'm going to select all of that, go to table design, all borders, and then I'm going to just select the top bit here, and I'm just going to add a shading color to it just so it stands out. So I'm going to go to shading, click on the drop down, and I'm just going to select this grey. So now let's just check on our table. Actually, we don't need to select it. Go to borders and just deselect view grid lines. So that's currently how our questionnaire looks. If you've got any problems with it, then you can, it's at this point, then you can adjust it, you can add those certain borders, etc. So let's go back to grid lines, check them on again, just make that space again under there. And then for this question, this is question 10, we're actually going to use 2 lines to create that additional space. So for this one, we need to merge these 2 cells, go to layout, click merge, and then we're going to click these 2, merge, these 2, merge, and then we're going to click on these 2 and merge them, and then pop our question in, and then let's merge all of these cells here. That's a quicker way to do it rather than what I did before. And then again we can select all of this, table design, all borders. So that's kind of a question where you need a little bit more space for somebody to write or type. And again, you can move this line here backwards and forwards to suit your needs. Okay, let's create that space again. And this one is going to be another sort of multiple choice, but it's going to be laid out in a slightly different way. This one up here, I'll put checkboxes in there, and I'll do that in a second. But here, question 11, again, we're going to merge these 2 here. And then here, we're going to merge these 2 cells. And then we're going to center them, go to layout and center that text. And then for this one here, all we're going to do is we're going to move this line over, just this line, to create a little bit of space just between this question and then the rest of the multiple choice. So for here, we had 4 questions. Let's just move that over. So I've just copied and pasted in these words, and you can see we're left with a bit of a gap here, and we need to sort this out. So the first thing we do is merge these 2 cells, merge these 2 cells, and then select all of these cells, go to layout and distribute columns. Then they're all equally spaced, and then I'm going to go back up and have them all aligned to center. Now the difference here is I'm not just going to scoop across the whole row and put a border around them. I'm going to put a border around these 2 cells here, go to table design, all borders, then I'm just going to highlight this section, go to all borders, and it gives us this lovely gap here. So if I switch off the guidelines, you can see there's just that nice line here, or that nice gap here, that just gives it that little bit of separation. So let's put those back on. Okay, let's go to the next question. Let's leave that space. Question 12. Okay, let's merge all of these. Go to layout, merge cells. Let's just pop our question in. So again, this is a multiple choice question, and all we want is 4 options. So we're going to have a tick box here, and then a question here, then a tick box here, and a question here. So we're going to merge all of these, merge cells, all of these, merge cells, and then select all of these, and we need to, where am I, distribute them equally. So to do that, let me just look at the old plan here. There you go. This is what we're trying to create here. So you can see the tick boxes and then the questions here. Let's just grab that question, pop it in there. Perfect. So once that's all done, we'll put the boxes in at the end. So I'm just going to select all of this, go up to table design, and then all borders. So then I'm going to come back and put in the checkboxes at the end. I need a few more cells, so go up to layout, insert below, below, below. Now you can see I've made a second page here, but we do need them to go to the bottom. So I'm just going to go over to my margins or my rulers here. If you can't see your rulers, go to view, make sure rulers is checked. Hover your cursor between the white section and the grey section, and then just pull that margin down. Now what should happen, which didn't, we've selected this bottom bit. So deselect that bottom bit and then do the same, pull this down. There we go, and it gets rid of that page. So the next item, if we go to this one at the bottom, number 14, and we need to list sports and activities and create some lines. So let's create that space first. Question 14. And then the space that we need for the question is probably about there. Table layout, merge cells. It might need another cell actually. Let's just have a look. Yep, let's merge that cell as well. Merge cells. And this one, as you can see, it has gone to the bottom of that cell. Now, I don't know why that happened. I think it's because I pasted it from here. But normally, if you type in your question, it will be in the center here. But I actually wanted it at the bottom because the lines here will also be at the bottom. And we can also put this one at the bottom as well. Go to align to bottom. There we go. And now what we want to do is actually create the lines just at the bottom here. And this is where it can get a little bit tricky because it doesn't always play the way you want to. And you do have to do a little bit of fiddling around with these border lines. So what we need to do is merge these cells, merge cells, and then I'm going to put a border line at the bottom. So I've selected this cell, go to table design, and then go to borders and go to bottom border. Now you can see what's happened is the border line has run all the way along here, which is not what we want. So we'll go back. What we'll do is we will go to this section here and merge these cells, go to layout, merge cells, and then what we'll do is put the line between. So we'll select these two cells, go to table design, go to borders, and then we'll go down to this one here that says inside horizontal border. And as you can see, the line stops where we want it to here. But I do actually want to merge all of these cells here, merge these cells as well, create the line between these two, table design, and then actually what we can do is go to bottom border and middle border. There we go. Now for some reason that border's gone. So let's go back, Command or Control Z, and we'll select this cell here. This is what I mean, they can be a little bit clunky at times. Go to bottom border. No, so what it's done, it's chosen to move that one. So let's go to this cell and choose top border. Top border, there we go, perfect. And then we can select this row here and again go to top border and it will put the line just where we want it. So it does need a little bit of playing around. You'll get the hang of it eventually. And then go to borders again, take your grid lines off and see how that's looking. Perfect. Now I'm going to move this down a little bit. There we go. And I just wanted to put a little bit of information at the top. Now you could argue, well, you know, why didn't you create a cell and put the information in the cell? And the reason being is because when you start to type, there's an automatic margin that Word produces within that cell. So if I was to start to type here, the words would start here. So let me just show you. So I want to put this in here, but I've used a text box to do that because if I hadn't, Word would have put a margin in the cell and my words would have started here. which to me just looks a bit clunky and I want to move it over. So that's sometimes why I use different techniques to ensure that I get the desired results. So for here, let me just paste that text in so I can show you how this is done. So what we can do again, insert, text box, draw text box, and then we can draw out a text box again. Let's just make that a bit wider. Put the text in, just paste the text or obviously type it. Again, go to shape format, get rid of the borderline and to get rid of the fill color. And then again, you can move this any way you want in your document. And I just want the P of please to just line up with the edge of that left-hand border. Perfect. Now you can go ahead and start moving things around so that they look exactly how you want them. I want to move that E so it lines up with the edge of this questionnaire. Might look a little neater. And then at the bottom you might want to put a footer in just to make it look a bit more professional. Double click at the bottom. You see them in the footers here. And then we can just type in questionnaire 101. Now again, your margins are over to the right a bit. It would be great to line this up with this bit here. So we can grab this margin line at the top and then we can just pull that over so it lines up. Then double click back into the main document. And as you can see, this bit at the bottom is slightly greyed out. That's because it's in the headers and footers. But this is the remainder of your questionnaire. Now, if you want somebody to fill this out online, there's a couple of things you need to know. And the first thing is you need the developer tab in your document. And the way to get that is to go to Word, Preferences, Ribbon and Toolbars. So you go to this section here, Main Tabs, scroll down and you'll see there's a developer tab. Make sure that's checked and then click Save. And then your developer tab should be in your software. Now the developer tab is really where you can put in macros and where you can utilize these elements here to make yours a digital form. So you've got a text box, you've got a checkbox, you've got a drop down, then you've got shading, and this finally, this really important part here, which is to protect the form. So that means when you lock it, you can't edit it. So for example, you've got title here. So if you want somebody to just infill this with their title, click in the box, go to text box, and you can automatically see that a box has been placed in there. When I protect it, it means I can't click anywhere in my document and type, because it will just, if I click here, you can see my cursor will bounce back up to here. Now there's a few things you can do to customize this. Firstly, you can get rid of this shading if you want to by just clicking shading. I always keep it on until I've completed the form because it's good to see actually where you've put your checkboxes. You can take them out at the end, that's absolutely fine. So also there's a couple of other customizations you can do by right clicking on the box. Sorry, this is where it all goes wrong. You need to unprotect the form. So uncheck or check the protect form again and they will all glow again or light up. If you click it again, they're all greyed out, which means the form is locked. So click it again to unlock it and then right click on the shaded area and go down to properties. Now here's where you can really customize it. You can go for regular text, numbers, dates, times, etc. So we're going to put some regular text in. You can also set the limit of the characters that you have in that box. So generally, I don't think you'll need any more than about 5 characters in this box. So I'm just going to select 5. My text format, I'm going to put in title case and then click OK. So now if I protect the form and then I write in here and then I just write in, let's say lowercase, press my tab key, you can see it automatically changes to sentence case there. So that's the first one. Then along to this one again, unprotect the form. I can put one in here, text box. I can go ahead and customize all these as I've just shown you. With these again, you can set the characters. So with mobile phone, if I put text box in and I right click, go to properties and I can select numbers. And again, for a mobile phone, let's put 10 characters in. Number format, we'll just put it in normal and then click OK. And then email is just text. And then here I want all my checkboxes. So all I need to do is click on checkbox, press my tab key, checkbox, and I just keep going. I will center all of these up in a second. And then select all of those cells there, go to layout, and I'm going to align to center. In this one here, you can have unlimited text. So go back to the developer tab, text box. Again, in here, we want checkboxes. There we go. Again, checkboxes here. And then we'll center those up, select those two, layout, center alignment, center alignment. And then for this one here, it's a little bit more tricky because you've got text which will run to the end of here, and then it will just keep going. So you do have to maybe count and experiment with how many characters you'll allow in this row, and then it'll force people to have to go to the next line by pressing the tab key. So it's not well suited to filling this out online by using this form. So for example, this one here, people can keep typing and 3 lines will come out for here. You can again limit the characters. You do sometimes have to type out the amount of characters that will fill this square here to know how many characters that you'll have to limit it to. So here again, we can go to developer, click text box, here, text box, and here, text box. So once you protect the form, so I can go into here and just lowercase type Lisa, press my tab key, and then I move on to the next box. You can see it hasn't changed because I haven't customized it. And then just keep pressing the tab key and it will send you to the next box. Again, the next tab key. So for these, you just need to click and you'll see the cross. Click again and it will take the cross away. And so on and so forth. Again, if you want to take the shading out, just click shading and it will take all the shading out for you and you'll be left with this beautiful form. So if you want to remove any of these, you've got to unprotect the form, and then you've simply got to, let's put the shading on, and then you simply press delete twice and it will delete whatever you've selected in that box. So just remember that once you've placed everything in, you need to protect that form before you then send it on. So I hope that's helped you today. If it has, please like and subscribe and have a great day.